God and me, and I'm your host, Mary Amy, coming to you live. My site is listed on the screen, maryamyofficial.com. As an intuitive wisdom coach and empath, I'm ultra-sensitive and capable of understanding and knowing your spirit. I've joined forces with the 4 elements of nature to be in the flow. Let's begin to transition bad luck and bad karma with goodness. Angels are celestial beings performing acts of goodness for humanity. I hope to bring us together in a peaceful way of life. On our show today, we have topics, a weekly quote. We have a guest, Micheal Anthony Suszczynski, a spiritual health coach, hypnotherapist, intuitive channeler. We have angel facts, a visualization, and products. This morning, I'd like to start with a prayer from this book, The 8 Steps to Happiness, the Buddhist Way of Life. And I'm going to bring it up, the prayer that I'm going to say, so that you can join with me. And it's prayers for meditation, which I totally suggest. I've been meditating for about 18 years now. I remember, I apologize, 16 years. Anyway, this is called Generating the 4 Immeasurables. And the 4 immeasurables are the 4 Buddhist virtues. Equanimity. I always have a problem with words. Equanimity, which is mental closeness, love, compassion, and joy. May everyone be happy. May everyone be free from misery. May no one ever be separated from their happiness. May everyone have equanimity, free from hatred and attachment. I think that resonates with me because I'm releasing negativity and I'm actually trying to remind myself to bring in positivity. And I want to bring up this other prayer that I found online actually, and that there you go. There's something for you on your own to look at, and it's about bringing enlightenment into our life and reminding ourselves. Okay, so moving on, our quote today is from this man, and he is a physicist and theoretical physicist. So here he is. Okay, general relativity is like a Trojan horse. But lurking inside, we find all sorts of demons and goblins, including black holes, white holes, wormhole, and even time machines, which defy common sense. These anomalies were considered so bizarre that even Einstein himself thought that they would never be found in nature. For years, he fought strenuously against the strange solutions. Today, we know that these anomalies cannot be easily dismissed. About the mysteries of life. The strongest of these anomalies is the possibility of parallel universes and gateways connecting them. Micheal Cuckoo, and he wrote Parallel Worlds and many other books. He's an American theoretical physicist, studied at Harvard University. Okay. Before we have our guest, I want to cover some topics. He's coming in a little bit, so before he gets here, we're just going to move on. Okay. Very important to me is light. And light can shift away darkness, and it can take away negativity. The best way to get rid of darkness and negativity is to find a light source. Now, we can find a light source in our own hearts. Light is power, protection, and guiding. You can call out to light and ask for light to dismiss darkness. It's your choice. You might feel uncomfortable being so awakened at first. Your balance will be off, and there's a void that you will have as you release negativity. And in that space, you should place visualizations of light, pieces of nature, and then you'll be able to actually send light to other people. So I actually talked at one point about white light because I'm an empath, and so I absorb everyone's negativity. So I would call out to white light, and I'd say white light, which is universal good. I'd say white light, surround me and protect me. And if I was in a crowd of people and I felt really uncomfortable because I was getting everyone's moods and I'd be all whack, out of whack, I would think to myself, white light, and I'd imagine just light around me that's white. And I instantly felt better. I would like us to do a visualization. So close your eyes. Breathe. Relax your body. I'd like you to take 3 inhales and exhales. Check your body for tension. Now let's bring awareness to your thoughts. I'd like you to imagine being inside your own brain. Now quiet your mind so you have stillness. What thoughts do you automatically select? What do you automatically think about? Now, are these thoughts useful? Are they positive or negative? And do your thoughts circle back to the same thoughts? Let's clear away the negativity to have a pure spirit and try to open up the space in your mind, in your brain, and visualize a bigger space. Now, I know this is abstract, but this is how we will get there, and we will bring more light into your life. So as you try to make more space in your brain, let's visualize some light inside of your brain. A glowing light, some peace and calmness. And breathe in fresh air. And breathe out any negative thoughts that you're carrying. So let it go. And we're going to count backwards. And we're going to open our eyes. 3, 2, 1. This morning, I would like to introduce a guest that I have. And I'm just going to pull him up. Where is he? And this is what I'm going to present Micheal Anthony Suszczynski. He's a spiritual health coach, certified hypnotherapist, and master life coach, intuitive channel.
Hey,
Good morning.
How are you today?
Good. How are you? Early morning?
It's an early morning in Arizona. Yes, it is.
Now, are you in Arizona?
I am.
You are. And so we have a bit of a time difference. I really appreciate you coming on this morning.
You're welcome. I appreciate you having me on.
We did an interview together. So it was actually June of last year.
Was it
and
really?
when I was doing the radio show, which was, I don't remember, it's a big blur, but I do remember that you were very positive, and we're actually seeking the same mission in life, which is to help and heal.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
Yes. um, so let's see. You've traveled, I know, and now are you officially staying in Arizona? Or are you still on the go?
In Arizona for now, and for now it's been 16 years. I feel like I'll always have a home here, but I also feel like there may be more travel coming up.
Oh, okay.
So.
Yeah, see, I thought that you did, I guess it was a move. It wasn't that you moved out of state.
So the last time we talked, I might have been up north, closer to Sedona. I took a little bit less than a year studying with a Native American elder a few years back. So that might be what we talked about.
Oh, okay.
It's been an interesting journey.
Yeah, I understand. I'm getting that myself. So now I would love to touch on this. You're a hypnotherapist.
Sure.
I recently remember reading about a famous psychic who actually learned how to do hypnotherapy, who would go into a trance. He was hypnotized, and then he would medically help people and tell them where they had ailments.
Edgar Cayce?
Right.
Yes.
So tell me in relation to that, how do you utilize your skill set?
So mine's a little bit different. So I'm not going into a trance state. So you can do clinical hypnotherapy just straight with your tools that you've learned, getting someone down into a trance, inducing them down, and then taking them on a journey. You can do a guided meditation, or you can do a past life regression, which would be very different. A guided meditation, you're dropping them down pretty deep, and you're telling them a metaphorical story. When you do a past life regression, you drop them down to a certain point, and then you invite them to speak. And the more you speak to them, they start to come out of their trance, and then you drop them down again. The more you speak, they come up, and then you drop them down. It becomes a nice little dance.
Wow.
Yes. It's very powerful. And we're hypnotized. All of us are hypnotized all the time. We're watching TV or when we're driving the car. When we're driving a car and we get lost in thought and we're making all the turns and hitting the brake and hitting the blinker and everything, that's our subconscious driving the car. So if our subconscious can drive the car, where's it driving our vehicle on a day-to-day basis based on old programming or old patterns that we developed most likely from 0 to 8 years old?
Well, when we're driving the car, we're driving the car. When we're being hypnotized, I feel that it's like a loss of power. So, you know, I actually, for years and years ago, I worked with a hypnotherapist. And so I understand I was put under myself, and you really have to have a huge trust and believe in that person, which...
Well, everyone also has a different experience, though. Some people drop really far down, and some people stay in almost like a twilight state. And the beautiful part about it is when I talk to people, one of their fears is, you know, I don't want someone to make me quack like a duck or all the silly stuff. The great part is that the person who's being hypnotized has complete control. If something doesn't feel right, they'll pop out of their subconscious to their conscious mind, and they can just say stop.
Really?
Yes. I can't make
That's good news. See, they don't tell you that part. You know, when you're watching some kind of, I guess it's gimmicky, you know, on TV or something. And people, like you said, are kind of told to do something that's ridiculous.
Well,
and it's embarrassing.
Well, it makes sense, though. That's a great point, though, because when a stage hypnotherapist points to someone in the audience, they're pointing to the people who are excited to be there, who have a hidden performer in them. They're never going to pick the guy who's like this, the guy or girl who's like this. There's someone who wants to perform on some level. They may be afraid to in their normal life, but in that subconscious state, they'll be quacking like a dog, jumping up and down, doing all kinds of silly things.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
You'll see it sometimes. It won't work, and they'll send people off the stage too.
So you do past life regression, which means obviously that you believe in past lives, right?
I do. Now, but all my clients may not. So what I offer to them is, if your brain is making up a story, it's making up a story for your highest good to release something. So just go with the story. Even real or not, maybe it doesn't even matter. But if it can help you move through something, that's all we're looking for.
How when you say you're dropping down farther and farther, you're dropping more lifetimes down? Is that what
I'm dropping them to a space, to the root cause. And that might be when in this lifetime, or it might be some other lifetime.
It's interesting because when I worked with clients and I did something actually in more of a dimensional way, and actually they weren't with me, where I would do a healing, and then to remove something, I realized that it's a generational, which is I'm pulling something out and taking away something from their past that's actually destroying them right now, or damaging them right now. And I actually can see into the portal, I guess you want to say. And you know, even myself, I know that there's something to repeated paralysis with certain trauma. Like, did I have that trauma in a past life or something similar? And now here it's coming up again because I never solved it. Does this make sense?
Oh, it makes perfect sense. Yeah. We may bring something that was a charged traumatic experience from the past. We may bring it forward if we never tied it down. So we can go in the past, and you can find in a past story, the person's telling their story, they're having their experience, which I love because many people come out of it, you know, like, I don't know what that was, but I felt it like it was actually happening to me right now. And it's like, oh, so maybe it was real. Maybe it wasn't. I want to honor their belief system. But yes, something in the past that may have happened to them that had a charged experience, they may actually carry that piece of baggage forward.
Right.
Just like in this lifetime, we may leave a relationship and we still might bring that baggage into multiple relationships. Now we have a relationship with this life that we're in right now. So if we have something, we might be bringing the baggage from the past relationship of that life to this relationship of this life to this relationship of this life.
And I also would like to point out that I do realize that it's not only the negative. I fully see, and people sometimes don't understand what I mean by this, and maybe I'm not articulating it properly, but I say you have good luck. And I can see that this person, they came to this, you know, this lifetime with a lot of good stuff attached to them. And then everything seems to go their way, because no matter what, because they just get through. So it's both. And maybe it's, if you want to say both, or it could be, like you just said, something that they hadn't gotten through, and it's you know, still bothering them here in this time.
You're right, though, because I believe it's a charged experience. So if they had a positive charged experience in the past, that might come through as well. But think of the child prodigies, like Beethoven. I mean, he was writing symphonies less than 10 years old. Maybe he played piano in a previous lifetime and brought that gift with him forward and just connected to it early. It's fascinating.
Okay. I'm sorry to interrupt. Someone keeps writing text messages, and I believe they're for you. So I just want to bring it up. Christine Kleminski, oh, yes, you know her? Of course. Good morning. And she says, Amy. It's Mary Amy, but that's okay. And Michael from Delaware. Oh, I went to high school with Michael. Great to see you. She says, could the law of attraction be part of the good luck?
What do you think about it?
Then I'll answer.
Okay, let me think about that for a second, because it's all resonance with something. So if you're coming in with a positive charge from somewhere, it could be because you're coming in with something that you're already having expectations. And if you're putting that energy out, if you're already expecting it to happen, then yes, I could see those two marrying together everywhere you go. It's actually, I've never thought about it before, but just in the simplest of terms, I believe yes.
I feel like they I feel like they actually not cross each other out, but if you already have a lot of light in your spirit, I guess I could say, inside and outside, then that is good luck. I mean, that's as much grace and enlightenment as you can have, right?
Yeah, right.
So yeah, I think that is. Yeah.
What I've found in my experience with the law of attraction is if we see life through the childlike wonderment of things, think of a small child and Superman walks by. The little child would be like, whoa, wow. It's just pure childlike wonderment. It's not like, how do I get to Superman? How do I do this? It's if we can have an experience where something shows up and we're like, oh, that's amazing. I would love to experience that. It's not like, how do I get that? How do I get money out of it? It's like, how do I have this beautiful experience? I would love to have this experience. That childlike wonderment is literally a magnet that picks up, and then that experience has its magnet, and they come together miraculously many times. So if you can have that, Christine, if you can have that experience where you can just look at it through the childlike wonderment. And Christine does a lot of work with children. She does a lot of story times on YouTube with children right now. So she's kind of in that energy as well. So it's really beautiful what she's doing. And I think it's, I think if more of us can tune into that inner child, this world has us wanting to grow up so fast. And we forget to play. We forget to sit down and draw and just have a simple moment of time of just being in that place where it's not about responsibilities. That's a great balance to all the pushing and pulling that we're doing as we're trying to build something in life, or the go-get-'em tiger kind of attitude.
I truly believe that, you know, I work and talk about doing visualizations and bringing, if you can connect to joy, then you can become have a better perspective, have a happier perspective, and joy will kind of shift away darkness as well as light.
Well, think about it. When you're in a joyful state, you're also being present, and you're literally marinating in that feeling, and it's in that presence. You're not thinking too far ahead. You're not thinking about how to get your hooks into something. You're just, when we have a joyful moment, it's like, we just feel it. We're present with it. And I think that all goes into the law of attraction, being present. You can look ahead and you can kind of lead in that direction, but come from it with the, wow, I don't know how this is going to happen, but this is an amazing experience that I'd love to have.
Okay, I want to ask you, I guess in some ways you've already done this, but could you just give us some suggestions how to aid with stress and feeling overwhelmed? And I know we're like kind of moving out of talking about the hypnotherapy and more about, you know, your coaching, your spiritual health coaching.
So one of the things is sitting down for a moment. And that doesn't necessarily mean you have to actually sit down on a chair, but it means stopping for a moment. Because we're playing a story. When we're really anxious, we're forecasting in the future. And we're worrying about what's going to happen. It's a control piece of ourselves. We're trying to control something. How do we, this is going to happen, so how do I hold everything down so it happens? Or how do I hold everything down so it doesn't happen? Sit down in yourself for a moment. Take a few deep breaths. It's the same thing with a child. The baby's crying and can't get them to stop crying. You walk outside. You go into a different room. You change your experience around you, which helps change your state. If you're having that struggle, go outside for a walk. Lean up against a tree. Do something that's going to just take you out of that spinning mind for a moment. You can hear me, just tap your legs, get into your body, put your bare feet on the grass. It's literally about slowing the speed bump.
Grounding yourself.
But the trick is, and Esther Hicks talks about this all the time, is it's doing the steps before that. Because when you're in it, you're pretty much spinning. So that's why stepping out of the room, stepping outside is a great spot, because the fresh air might hit you. You're like, oh, okay, hold on a second. Something's different right now. But if you can have the steps before that, okay, I know when I do these things, I get stressed out. Let me stop. Let me take a few deep breaths right before that. Let me journal. But here's the best part, though. If you have that feeling, embrace the feeling. If you get really nervous or something, tune into that piece. Sit down and write to that piece. Write a letter to that piece. Ask that piece what it's trying to tell you. So if you're really nervous about something, as you're writing, it might say, I'm trying to protect you. I'm nervous about public speaking. Why are you nervous about public speaking? And as you're writing, you'll may get hit with, oh, because someone may make fun of you. It's like, oh, okay, you're trying to protect me. So you're making me nervous so I don't step into something.
Right.
You will find that the more you lean into something, the more the secret of why it's doing it exposes itself. We're so clued in to change the feeling all the time and run away from those things. Those things will always follow us. It's as if that shadow piece that's scared is tied to a bungee cord. And as we run and run and run, we may get further away, but the second we stop, it catches right up to us.
Mm.
So we don't want to run from those things as much. We want to actually turn around and ask them what they need to do. What are they trying to tell us? You'll
Right.
be really surprised when you actually lean into it, because it may not be what you think it is.
I agree with you, because I talk about that doing dream work. Instead of running away, just stand there and find out what you are running from.
Mm-hmm.
And usually more information will come, and then it's not as scary. It takes away the fear.
I'll give you an interesting example. A few years ago, I was invited to speak at a fundraiser, and I was earlier in my career, and actually I was helping someone out with nutrition stuff. So they asked me to come and speak in nutrition aspect.
Mm-hmm.
And I got there, and there's two like really high level doctors and me. And I was like, oh, I don't seem to fit what they're asking for. But when it was my time to speak, as I got up, I took a drink of water. And as I stood up to go up to speak, the water went down the wrong pipe, and I started to choke. I got on stage, and I literally choked up there.
Oh.
And when I got off, I sat back down at the table, and I was feeling ridiculous, full of shame, horrible.
Yeah.
There was an older couple next to me, and they were from West Virginia, so they had some of that country spun humor type thing. The man looked at me, and he must have been in his 70s, and he said, "You were sweating bullets up there, weren't you?"
Oh no, he called right out on it.
But I looked at him, and we all broke out laughing, and it took the tension away. So instead of running from it, we leaned into it, dealt with it, and moved past it really quickly. And that moment from, I don't know, 8 or 9 years ago still sticks with me today. I think of that man often for just, in his own way, whether he knew it or not, he helped me lean into the thing I was so scared of and running from in that moment. Because the next time I got up to speak, I was afraid, oh, will I do that again? And then I thought of him, and I started laughing to myself. I'm like, that was actually a great experience in hindsight.
Okay, when you've mentioned the Native Americans, and you were, I believe you were you residing with the tribe, or
it wasn't a tribe. There was an elder who had moved from Oklahoma, and she had come up north, right outside of Sedona, and she had people who come to her and kind of teach them the Native American way. Mm-hmm. And with a whole bunch of synchronicities, doors opened, doors closed, that door opened. It seemed like a once in a lifetime opportunity. I went up there and had a really interesting experience. There was a lot of beauty. It was really hard at sometimes. We weren't really off the grid, but we were as close to off the grid as I'll probably ever be. And it really had to let go of control. But I learned a lot about myself, and I learned a lot about life up there. It was actually a really powerful experience.
So what do you mean let go of control? You mean letting go of the outside world, or you mean life as you know it? What does that mean?
So as let's say I was 44 at the time when I went up there. To go up there as an adult, as a man, in my own life, and to go up, and then you're making an agreement that you're working with the elder, and she's now the boss.
Oh. So
when she calls you, or someone shakes you at 2 o'clock in the morning to say, "Hey, Michael, they need you to work with someone right now." You okay? This is the game I signed up for. I know the rules. Let me go do this. Mm-hmm. And it was beautiful, because when I used to do sessions, I would have to drink my hot tea, do all my prayers, maybe have my crystal. I had a whole thing I had to do. Up there, nope, just don't go do it right now. And I realized I didn't really need all that stuff. Those were helpful in their own way, but they were also crutches. They were kind of like the feather to Dumbo. He thought he needed it to fly. He didn't. So I learned a lot, but I gave up my power of being an adult man to go up there to learn something from someone, and kind of just, okay, here I am, show me.
Did you find, I know that you have intuitive abilities, obviously you're very in tune and open. Did you find that being in that environment and that culture, did that influence and kind of lift you to another level in what you do?
It did. There's two things I feel that were at play there. One was the encouragement, the ability, because part of what she was doing was talking to her elders who weren't present also. So you were kind of fostered in this experience. The other thing was, I was living in Cornville, which is about 10 miles outside of Sedona, and it's not a large city. It's a very small city. So just getting away, being surrounded by nature, getting away from the electromagnetic fields, cell towers, and even from a lot of people, it allowed my spirit, my energy to open up more and walls to come down. So I was more in tune with everything. And the beauty about that was, I didn't know this, but when I went up there, she basically told me after, you came up here because I need your help. So she gave me like a boot camp, and then I kind of became her right-hand man for a while.
Nice.
It was a very powerful experience. And the best part is it shook my paradigm tree. And what I mean by that is we questioned everything I believed in. And some things fell off, like, oh, I don't know why I was believing that. Maybe my parents told me, but it doesn't sit with me anymore. But many things I'm like, yes, that's a deep core part of me. And that those roots became deeper. Yeah. She was really lovely, but she wasn't warm and fuzzy.
She was what?
She was not warm and fuzzy.
Oh no.
She could be, but she had it. She had a power, and she had a gift, and she would see something in you, and she's like, "We're going right to the core."
This is interesting because right now I find that, and it might just be the way I handle life, or it might be the way everyone else does, and I don't speak of it, but it's like when you go into this experience that you just were relaying to us about, you basically, it's an adventure because you're going in and you have no power, no control, and and everybody, and it's all happening to you. So, you don't know when you're getting up and then, to do whatever task that they have you,
yes, to
do. Like you have to be available to them. And I feel that with me, and maybe it's with everyone, is that, I don't know if I throw myself into situations or my life turns into some kind of journey, like little mini journeys. And then when I'm in it, I'm thinking, how am I going to get through this? And what do I have to do next? And when is it going to be over? And then I have to remind myself, just enjoy the journey and just accept it and be in the moment and see what happens, bad or good. And then when it's over, I reflect on it and I say, wow, that was so interesting. Why couldn't I have enjoyed it more when I was in it?
Sure.
Right?
Yeah, I completely understand that. I've learned in my life, especially the last 5 years, once I left the corporate world, I had moments where every step was a step of faith. I didn't know where the next drop of food was coming. I didn't know where I was going to sleep on certain nights. I gave up everything because I believed I had something that was calling me forward. And I'm like, okay, this journey that I'm on, I've never felt anything so strong. I literally feel it's a calling. I'm like, I have to investigate this. And when you grow up 25 miles out of New York City and you go to college and you're the first person in your family to go to college, you're doing everything you're supposed to do. And then at some point you're like, no, that doesn't fit. Something else is happening here. Because I love it too, because went back to school. I was seeing clients on the side, but I was still an IT recruiter. So I would tell my boss, I'm going to take a long lunch. And then I'd quickly run to my office, do a session with somebody, and then quickly drive back to my office. Like, okay, lunch is over. And I was like, oh my God, that was crazy. But one day I woke up and I said, I can't do this anymore. I looked up to whatever's bigger than us and said, I can't do this anymore. Help me do my thing, please. The next day I went in, they laid off 25% of the company, and I was there 10 years, and I was the only person let go in Arizona. So I'm like, oh, you got that order. Okay. So I felt very divinely guided on all these steps.
Yeah, that's important what you just said. It's kind of divine intervention. Sometimes our choices are not our own, and we're supposed to be doing something else that's more valuable to the world and ourselves.
It is.
So Christine said before, which I'm a little behind on, she said, makes great sense, wow. And then the inner child, yes, and great piece of advice. So she's thanking you. Did you want to talk about any upcoming events? I know that the world is kind of on a little bit of a delay right now, but you do a lot of online work probably. Do you have any events or any information you'd like to share?
I'll give my information. I have a few things working right now. I've been focusing on writing. I've spent the last 2 years kind of finishing a book, and Now it's getting to the next stage, which is letting go of the control, handing it over to someone to start the editing process. So a lot of my focus has been on that. But I know I have some things calling, because I mean, as much as the world is having its issue, there is opportunities to connect. It just may be different than the ways we are connecting. But can I say something else real quick?
Anything you want.
Thank you. The things I learned in life came from the moments where it was the darkest in my life, or it was the scariest in my life. It taught myself that I had a deeper level of reserve, and I had a deeper level of connection that I didn't know. So every time I took a leap of faith, the next time a leap of faith was called, I already had a foundational piece that, oh, something worked in my favor last time. Even if it didn't feel good, it allowed me to, it showed up that even in the moments of not feeling good, wisdom was there for me. Something that said, come, keep coming, we got you. It was like little breadcrumbs. I call them spiritual breadcrumbs. My life has just been filled with spiritual breadcrumbs. They don't always feel good, but when I take them, it might be 2 or 3 breadcrumbs later that I realize that breadcrumb was actually the more important breadcrumb. We have so much more inside of ourselves, and we're so much more connected than we can possibly imagine. I just urge, if you have a gut feeling, step into it. I'm super passionate about that. If I could do it, anybody could do it. Just trust your gut. It doesn't always lead you to puppy dogs and rainbows. But when you get on the other side of that thing you are a much stronger individual. You have wisdom that you can take forward. You have wisdom for your family now. And this is what's so beautiful about life. We have a chance to show up. And we show up for other people, but we really need to show up for ourselves first. And that sounds backwards, but when our cup is full, we have so much more to give so many other people. It's amazing. Just continue to show up for yourself. Because if you are that people pleaser, and you feel like you have a million people lined up in front of you that you have to do, imagine you being first in line. You give to yourself first, then that person turns around full and can now help you meet all those people. And your cup is full. It's okay. It's okay to give to yourself first. It's okay. People call it selfish. You're being selfless, because when you're full, you're going to give more. It's powerful.
I agree with you. Now, Michael Anthony, if people would like to reach out to you, your site is thespiritualhealthcoach.com. Now, what is your format? Do you do Skyping or Zoom, or would you want to just walk us through that before you go?
Sure. It depends. I kind of meet people where they're at. If they want to do a Skype or a Zoom session, I'm completely down for that. I love doing that. Some people like to just have a phone conversation, or even I've done hypno over the phone. Depends what people are, where people are. Yeah, so that's kind of how that is. Because even
are you primarily doing coaching because of this social distancing, or can you do hypnotherapy?
Oh, yeah. You can do it. Yes, you can easily.
What?
Yeah. It's because, I mean, as you know, time is this construct that might be made up. I mean, we're right here. You have a deja vu moment. You have something that happened in the past. It feels like it's happening in the moment. Right now, look, we're not in the same room. We're having a connection, and there's people listening to us. They're having a connection as well. You could easily do something. Yeah. You can even do energy work over the phone.
Right. No, I know you can do energy work. I mean, I do that remotely, but I mean, just the whole hypnotherapy, I can't imagine. That's intense that you can do that.
Oh, it can easily be done. Yeah. It's you just create that connection. Because once, like right now, you and I, we're co-creating a bubble right now, and we're in this bubble, and we're having our experience, and there's healing that's happening. There's healing that's happening between you and I, and there's healing that's happening in the other bubbles that are attached to our bubble. Which like when you blow bubbles and bubbles connect, many times they become one bubble, and that's what happens when we do this work.
Wow.
So when other people come in and their experience, like someone like Christine, she's bringing her experience in, and now we're all co-creating because we are intuitive. We're picking up on stuff. I might say something that just might be just for Christine, and as I say it for her, someone else is listening, and then their bubble opens up and they're connected now. It's powerful.
I love that you're giving us all this information. I think it's fantastic. Well, no, because you know what? It's empowering, and you're bringing awareness. And I know that, everyone walks away with something, and I hope that it's good. And I think in our bubble, you and our bubble is a lot of light. And that's what I'm sending out. Lots of light.
The interesting thing too, though, is sometimes when it doesn't feel good, it can still be filled with light, because that might lead us to an experience that bubble pops and a new bubble shows up that is the right bubble for them. Most of my times in my life, my friends make fun of me because I always say everything's interesting. Because when I look back at the times in my life where the things were the worst, with a little bit of distance, they became the greatest teachers of my life. So I can't look back at those things and say, oh, that was a horrible experience. I'm like, wow, I learned so much. I'm so thankful for that experience. So we never know when we bump our head on something, there might be something really beautiful in store from that experience.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for joining us today.
You're welcome. It's my pleasure. Thank you.
And again, it's thespiritualhealthcoach.com, and you can find Micheal also on Instagram,
Yes.
Facebook.
Micheal Anthony Coach on Instagram, and on Facebook, Micheal Anthony.
Perfect. Thank you. Have a wonderful day.
You as well. Many blessings, and I appreciate you.
And I'll message you later after the show.
All right. Sounds good. Bye-bye.
Have a great day.
Thank you. You too.
Bye. That was really nice to talk to Micheal. It's funny what you recall from a whole year goes by, right? And I'm trying to get this done here. Where is that? And anyway, moving on. So I don't know where that is. So I would like to bring up something that I find pretty interesting, which is, you know, I'm a psychic, intuitive, empath, and there's something called palm reading. And I have up here a chart, and you can see. So the long line, deep line of life, it indicates your stamina, your vitality, and if you're well balanced. A short and deep line indicates the ability to overcome physical problems. So a long, deep line, where is the line? A short and deep line of life indicates ability to overcome physical problems. Now, the chained line means you're susceptible to health in or emotional problems. A double line of life means an angel or spirit guide assists you through life. And a headline is a strong will and mind over matter, the way you see your mind. Mind over matter, the way you. And then your heart line, which is also your love line, specific events in your life. So that's something to think about. There's the heart line right there, which I think you can see on there. It's the red line. And the lifeline is the other red line. And the headline is the other red. So those are the main lines on your palm. So if you want to check out your palm, and it's pretty interesting stuff. Now, let's see. The sun. I want to talk about a source of life quick. And the sun aligns our patterns. It's very important and gives us a chance for a new day. It represents power and strength. The solar deity, sun god, whose birthday is December 25th, birthday of the sun, is known as Sol Invictus, which is so interesting because that's Jesus's birthday. That's Christmas. So long ago, it was decided that December 25th was the birthday of the sun. Many ancient civilizations with myths believed the sun was a god, or there was sun brothers, the 12 zodiac constellations. During phases of time, the Neolithic, Egyptians, Roman Empire, Africa, Armenia, Aztec mythology, Arabia, Buddhism, India mythology, Christianity, Indonesian mythology, all believed that the sun was a type of god, or in the sun there was God. Now, a sunrise, we can take this out, sorry. A sunrise is the moment the sun appears on the horizon. It symbolizes birth and awakening, hope, a new day, eternal life, afterlife, success, completion, romance, and love. I've painted this wall mural, which is a sunrise, because I believe it's so important how we begin our day. Now, sunlight boosts your mood, helps with anxiety and stress. It helps you feel calm, mind, body, spirit, happier, and vitamin D protects our mood changes. So let's see. Now, a sunset is when the sun disappears below the horizon, which symbolizes ending, romance, twilight, change, transformation, the beginning of darkness, the promise of new beginning. Now, watching a sunset relieves stress and worry as an excuse to see, it's an excuse to see beauty, and it's the time to start to rest. Okay, so angel facts. Now, numbers are interesting because there are angel numbers, and there is guidance that angels will give us through numbers. Now, repeated number sequences that you continually see, I've put up a chart, and you know, I don't know, in the past, I repeatedly saw numbers which were actually my birth date. I was born on the 15th of August. So I'd see 15 quite a bit. Now looking back, I'm wondering, was that an angel messaging me, my guardian angels? I know we all have 2 guardian angels that are with us since birth. And I was surprised to know that repeated number sequences are angel numbers. I have known of 1111, which is a very spiritual number. Now, angels can communicate with us by sending messages through strangers, numbers, and synchronicity. And I'm going to show you right now quick something that I think is pretty interesting. Thank you for your patience. I wanted to show you something about angels, but I can't find it right now. So I'll show you next week. I want to quickly remind you that I have a t-shirt, Angels, God, and Me. And if you go to my site, Mary Amy Official, you can send me a message and purchase it through Venmo. And before we go today, I wanted to bring up a gemstone, which is an Amazonite gemstone. So Amazonite gemstones have healing properties, and they are self-discovery, self-awareness, harmony and balance, embracing the truth, physical ailments, emotional issues, chakra balancing. They help to heal trauma. They have soothing energies at work, for work, or at home. Thank you for joining me. Please like my Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter page, Mary Amy Official. Wishing you create light, art, actions of kindness and compassion to shift away darkness with lasting repercussion through a series of events. With awareness, you can change your focus, your mood, yourself, and your happiness. I'm sending out prayers to all of you and blessings. I hope you can find the beautiful glowing light in your heart. Have a wonderful day.